Welcome back to Nonstop Fantasy. I'm Jack.
I'm Zach.
I'm Oscar.
I'm Dean.
Now we're going to look back at Week 2 and look forward to Week 3. So Week 2 brought a lot of injuries to a lot of different players. So
Yeah.
This is true.
how do you think they're going to, like, especially the 49ers, like, how do you think they're going to manage to get through everything?
They're not.
Yes, they are. Nick Mullins is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. That's all I have to
Are
say.
you really?
No, he's not.
I actually
But
picked
they'll
up,
be fine.
I actually picked up Jarek McKinnon due to the injuries of both Tevin Coleman and Raheem Mostert.
No, I traded him to you.
Still picked him up.
Yeah, true.
And so we're going to see how he does this week. And
Well,
Just
if
pretty
he
much-
doesn't do well, he sucks because he's like the only running back on the team.
well,
They got
still,
that Jeff Wilson Jr. guy.
They
Who
still prefer to have
cares?
a running back by committee system, so we'll see how that goes.
And then,
I think that's going to turn less into a committee. Mostert's clearly the best back. on that team.
Unfortunately for a lot of players who had the second pick, like myself,
Lol.
Saquon Barkley went down with an ACL and is out for the season. So do you think Devontae Freeman and Deion Lewis can, I mean, the team isn't great, but do you think that they can hopefully pick up a lot of the slack that
Yes.
Saquon left?
No, their
Freeman
offensive line
was-
is terrible. If you actually watch the games, Saquon had about 0 yards to run.
I'm gonna have to agree. If Saquon couldn't get any production, I don't think a washed Devontae Freeman after being away from the game for this long could.
I mean, he was in last year.
Yeah, but he wasn't good. He hasn't been good
Yeah, he
for
hasn't been
2016.
2015.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about probably the best game to watch was the Seahawks-Patriots game from last week.
Yeah.
I mean, Cam Newton, he's looking pretty good on a new team, and I mean, he's basically the best running back on that team.
He is
Yeah.
the running back on the
I
team.
would.
There's only 2 running backs in the NFL: Lamar Jackson and Cam Newton.
That is a very false statement, but you know. But I would recommend picking up Cam Newton for anyone struggling quarterback. I drafted Carson Wentz, and I played Cam Newton week 2, and I dropped Carson Wentz the day after. I'm sorry, Dean, but I mean, do you have any insight on the Eagles of what's going to happen for them in the future, or just like this year? Do you have any hope for them?
If Carson Wentz continues to struggle, Jalen Hurts might get a shot later in the year.
I think for the Eagles, as an Eagles fan, I think in order to get going on the season, they're going to need to start doing well in the run game, especially with Miles Sanders. He started with a fumble during that game last week, and it kind of threw them off, especially with the Carson Wentz interception late in that game. So we'll look to see how they do this week against a poor Bengals team, and if they lose that game, it'll definitely be interesting the rest of the way.
Do you think there's any fantasy pickups besides like Miles Sanders and Zach Ertz on that team?
Zach Ertz isn't even playing well.
Yeah, Dallas Goedert's looking pretty solid for that team, so at least you guys have a decent.
I think I
tight
said
end
it last
table.
week.
Honestly,
They're going to trade Ertz, and then Goddard's going to be their number 1 tight end.
I don't think they'll trade Ertz. They just might not pay him.
well, I don't think Philly should pay him because he's getting old and he kind of sucks, low key.
Yeah, I
He
don't
draws
think-
a lot of attention.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So maybe not. Maybe
they
you
could
don't, because then if he draws attention, you have Goddard open a lot.
What about the fact that the Dolphins almost beat the Bills last week and then came in and destroyed the Jaguars on Thursday night?
Well, destroying the Jaguars isn't exactly an accomplishment.
I mean, they were 1-1 going into that.
Yeah,
and-
but it's the Jaguars.
Yeah.
They
It's
have
like the
no
worst
defense,
organization in
no
football.
quarterback, and no running.
That's saying something.
Do you guys think the
That's pretty bad.
Dolphins? I mean, I don't think they're going to win the division, but do you think that they can sort of step in the right direction, maybe to mold Tua Tagovailoa?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They've already made the right steps last year and this year.
Since Tua's sitting, then Tua's gonna be able to learn. He's gonna be able to learn from Ryan Fitzpatrick. That even though he's not the best quarterback, he's gotten the starting job from like 5 different teams.
Yeah,
So
Hot
he could just
take.
learn from them.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is the GOAT. I'm just kidding. But
I don't know
he's
about that.
The GOAT.
I have
Any guys that you think are worth playing this week?
James
I mean,
Robinson. Oh, well, actually, he already
Well,
played.
like, obviously people that were smart enough to play James Robinson.
Smart enough. You are
All right.
such a...
All right, I play James Robinson.
He played
make
James
me
Robinson.
angry.
I think in terms of maybe like some trade options, in terms of buying low, Josh Jacobs last week 13.5 doesn't sound that great, but if you look at his touches, 27 attempts on the ground, and so I think without any touchdowns, he still had 13.5 points. So I think with all those opportunities with the ball, he'll definitely improve from week to week.
Oscar, do you have any guys that are worth you think playing this week, or just like that?
Leonard Fournette.
Really?
Yeah, because he popped off last week, and he's probably going to be the main running back this week too.
I don't trust that.
Why?
Because he's not really their running back 1. Ron Jones is a running back for one. One touchdown is like great, but like
But still, I
Okay,
mean,
it's
like
like-
Leonard Fournette, he was a really good running back playing for the Jaguars. Look, he was a very
Still a
cancerous
really good
player
running back.
in that locker room. I think that that whole team is sort of coming together, led by Brady. I mean, Gronk isn't who he used to be, but he's just a nice presence in the locker room. And I think if they keep getting Fournette touches, he's going to win the starting job at that point.
Yeah,
definitely
Fournette's going to be the
talent's there.
starter by the end of the season.
Yeah.
100%.
For me, I have two guys. So we have
I have 2 guys.
Miles Gaskin, who plays for the Dolphins. So he is like when you hear this name on the Dolphins, you're a little concerned. Like, what about Jordan Howard? What about Matt Breida? This guy is leading the team in touches, and I watched him play last night against the Jaguars. On the first drive alone, he had about 5 catches. He ended that drive alone with 4 points in our league, with the PPR league. But look, the first two weeks he only had 9 and 7 attempts. But the week after, 22 attempts. That clearly means that they're solidifying him as their number 1 running back, and just hoping that he can maybe step up into his own, into his own, basically, for the Dolphins. And then my second guy is Deontay Johnson, who may not be like, who is probably pretty obvious, but look, he is doing very well. He's been, I mean, they played the Giants week 1, and he did decently, but he did decently. But then Denver, 8 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown, that let alone. And with Juju, like, he is playing, but he's a little injured. And that team to hold together, I think, could be a very good team this year.
Okay, I have 3 players. A little weird, and they're all on my team, and I'm playing all of them. Nick Chubb, James Conner, and Julian Edelman. Nick Chubb, you would think maybe like, one good week. But they're playing Washington. I don't trust that front 4 at all. I
They
think
actually
if
have a really good front.
they do,
Chase Young, I mean,
They
but
have
yeah,
a
they have Chase Young,
really
but
good
that's
front
edge. If
four.
they keep running power back,
Still has Matt Ioannidis.
yeah, I know, Dean.
And I think Kareem Hunt is getting a lot of receiving.
Kareem Hunt
offense.
is.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but if they keep giving Chubb the same amount of carries, he's gonna just keep performing.
I just think you can't trust the Browns
Yeah, that's a
at
big
this
No.
point in time. Look, yes, they beat the Bengals.
Oh yeah, no,
Congratulations.
I wouldn't trust them
You beat
winning.
Joe Burrow in his second
I wouldn't
game of
trust them
NFL.
winning at all.
But like,
Um,
I don't know. In my opinion, Nick Chubb gets his points because he had like one really long run, and then nothing, and really nothing else. I mean,
If
I
you
could
have
be
you
wrong.
watch the game?
if you have Kareem Hunt
It's like,
and
no.
Nick Chubb, start Kareem Hunt because he.
no, I don't know. I'm saying that you could start Nick Chubb and
Yeah.
maybe be a little worried, but nothing crazy. I think you can start Nick Chubb, so I'm agreeing with Zach here.
I hope he
But-
gets 80 points, and I prove all of you wrong.
Yeah, that will
Right.
definitely happen.
All
But
Mhm.
I
He's
just
gonna break
think
the record.
that running back duo is better than their wide receiver duo.
Oh, absolutely.
And Odell and Jarvis Landry.
I think I've said for a long time Odell is overrated.
And then, Dean, with Steelers and stuff, do you think James Conner is capable of just kind of performing?
You know, I really don't know. It depends on if he's able to stay healthy and
It's also again about carries. Last week they said they were splitting carries between Snell and Connor, so I sat Connor because Snell was doing good because Connor was hurt in week 1. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to sit him because I'm going to get 50-50 carries. And then Snell had like 8% of the carries and Connor had 92%.
Oh.
And Connor had 20 points. So it was like, well, if they keep giving him the ball, he'll perform.
Yeah.
And then, so it was like, well, if they keep giving him the ball, he'll perform.
yeah.
And then Edelman, he's just played better with Cam than he
Yeah, I
has
agree.
with Brady. He was good with Brady. He's always been like a decent fantasy receiver, but like 100 and what was it, 150, 100? How many yards was it last week?
179 yards.
179 yards. That is crazy. And with no touchdowns, he had 25 points.
Yeah, because Edelman's playing better because he's playing with a more modern day quarterback. Brady plays so old school, and Cam is so
Brady,
good at
like Brady,
Let me finish, midget.
can't deal with this game.
Cam's good at extending the play, and he's mobile. Tom Brady just sat in the pocket for like 6 days and looked for an open receiver, and he wouldn't really throw the ball down the field. Cam could throw the ball down the field. He can scramble outside the pocket, extend the play. Edelman's very good at receiver, Hall of Fame receiver, so he's good at getting open, and
Wait.
it's a lot more points. What, midget? Talk.
Okay, last year I said Edelman is a Hall of Fame receiver.
I agree
Jack
with
and Oscar both said no.
that. What are you talking?
You said no, and you said no.
I said no as a joke. He's obviously a Hall of Famer.
You said no. I said not first ballot. And I was like, oh, maybe second or third ballot. You were like, no, he's not a Hall of Famer. And you were like, no, he's not a Hall
He's
of
not
Famer.
a first ballot Hall of
I
Famer.
think
course not.
I think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't know what you're talking about, but I think he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, look, he doesn't. He may not have like MVPs and stuff like that or any crazy words, but look,
Doesn't matter.
he won two
Super Bowl MVP.
Super Bowl MVP. He won Super Bowls, and he was very productive in all of his years. He was just a very reliable guy.
Pretty much
all the
won the
years.
game.
Yeah.
That Falcons.
I just want to
Patriots
see
game.
how he continues this year, and then maybe we'll see. All right, before we wrap up, going into Week 3, Super Bowl predictions now.
What?
Yeah.
Seahawks, Ravens.
Seahawks, Ravens.
You know, I think
This is Russell Wilson's year to win MVP, by the way.
I think if the Cardinals can keep it going, I think they might have a shot at the Super Bowl. And of course, you can't ever count out Mahomes and the Chiefs. So
I
Maybe.
wouldn't bet on the Cardinals.
Oh, neither.
'Cause Kyler is in his second year.
I don't
Carson
know.
Wentz,
I
his
w-
second year,
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't
Yeah,
be
but
surprised
Carson
if
Wentz
something
didn't go
happened.
all the way to the Super Bowl, though.
Yeah.
still had an amazing
Yeah.
season and potential.
Yeah,
to
true.
He would have won MVP.
I'm still. I agree with that. And if not them, then the Seahawks. And I mean, I would love to see. I would think the Seahawks, Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are more of a complete team.
Also, one more thing. If you have Deshaun Watson, this is something that I thought about just now while they were talking. You need to keep on. You don't be scared about him not getting as many points because he's gone against really good teams the first 3 weeks of the season. Like he played the Chiefs, then he played the Ravens, and now he's playing the Steelers. After he plays the Steelers, the schedule lightens up, so he's going to get you more and more points. So don't freak out that that he's not doing well. Obviously, he's not going to be as good as last year because they traded Hopkins for some reason. But like after this week, he'll really loosen up and play worse teams and get you more points.
And well, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week. We'll be updating you all throughout the NFL season, and hopefully in the off season a little bit also. See you later.